Good morning and welcome to the SDR Training. We're going to go through how to place a test order and also how to accept it while you're doing the demo, as well as obviously how the driver app works on that end. And so all you simply do, first things first, the tablet will always be set up in this format, right? There are three things that are most important. One is called the restaurant order accepting app. That's the app where you'll be able to accept and receive orders, or basically what restaurants use to receive and accept orders.
Reopen the restaurant app to continue taking orders.
And then there's also the Delivast merchant dashboard. That's also important. So those two apps are what restaurants will need to see on the tablet. Okay. Chrome is basically where we've set up the tabs in terms of showing the restaurant how a customer places an order and what happens when the order has been accepted. Okay, so first things first, you want to make sure that you open the restaurant order taking app. Before you go to your demo, you're logged in to the test store. Remember, this is a test store. It's purely for demo purposes. It's not a real store. So that app is open. Okay, and then you also open the Delivast merchant dashboard. Okay, so that's also already logged in for you. But if you also have the login details for the Delivast test store, and those have been provided for you in the credentials for demo resources Google Doc that you will have access to as well. Okay, so those two apps are what's going to be important for the restaurant. Now with Chrome, as I've also highlighted in the credentials for demo resources, you want to have 5 different tabs, and each tab makes a difference. You want to make sure that you have these tabs open before you actually go to the restaurant. Okay, so the first tab is the Delivast store, test store menu link. That's where before again you go to the demo, you've put things in a shopping cart, and then ultimately when you click on the shopping cart, you put in your details as well. You are acting as the customer at this point while you're using this menu link. Okay, and so as you can see, it's got all the details. Like in my instance, always put an address that's in Cape Town on Long Street, just because this test store is in town in Long Street. So you want to make sure you put an address that's within the delivery zones for this specific test store on your end. You also want to choose as soon as possible, and you also want to choose the payment method cash, so that you don't have to use your card. Again, you're just imitating being a customer while doing the demo for the restaurant. Okay, so that's the first tab that's open, and all these tabs, remember, should be open before you actually step into the restaurant. Okay, the second tab is the Delivast's dashboard. That's what we use on our end internally for customer support. When they want to send an order to a driver for tracking, you're not going to show the restaurant this. It's purely open so that when you, acting as a restaurant, accept the order, you then give yourself the order as a driver. Because remember, when you're doing a demo, you are 3 people in one. You are a restaurant, you are a driver, and you are a customer, and then obviously as daily boss as well. So you're fulfilling all these roles just to show the restaurant what actually happens in order for the stage from a customer placing an order up until the restaurant actually receives the order on their end, and ultimately when the order has been delivered. Okay, so that's what the Delivast dashboard is for. As I also explained in the credentials for demo resources doc, always make sure you've got the name of the restaurant. For in this case,
Reopen the restaurant app to continue taking orders.
So in this case, I chose the restaurant called Nice and Spicy, just as an example, right? This is a restaurant that I would be in this instance prospecting and going to speak to, right? So I want to make sure I'm prepared for when I enter there. I've got everything done on my end. So you want to Google the name of the restaurant, or just literally Google the name of the restaurant that you're about to enter, or that you're about to go speak with. And then you also open 2 other tabs just showing restaurants that we currently work with. And again, we'll go through that part as well. So you just Google the restaurants that are in that area or in that city, just so that it's part of the demo, and I'll explain a little bit later. Okay, all right, so you've got the 5 tabs open. Again, these are done, and this is done before you actually go inside the restaurant. Make sure you do this correctly. All right, so first things first, you want to make sure that you you on the menu link, you've actually are at the stage where you are ready to place a delivery order. So you show the restaurant that, listen, this is what the menu looks like, that whenever someone clicks on the ordering button on your website, it would show up a menu that looks exactly like this, right? So it's very simple. They just go to your website, they click on the ordering button, and once they click on the ordering button, it will show your in-store menu. It'll show your menu. Now your menu will be marked up by the percentage that either you may have already have told them, or that you're thinking of telling them, obviously, as part of the demo. So you're just showing them that this is an example of the menu that customers see when they click on the ordering button on their website. So you want to make sure you put just random things in the shopping cart. You've got all these details ready. Again, you want to make sure that you go in the restaurant ready and you're not wasting time as well. Okay. So before we place the delivery order, we want to make sure that on the restaurant side of things, on the tablet, that you can demonstrate how they will be able to receive and accept orders on their end. So remember, there's 2 apps that work together. There's the restaurant order taking app, and then there's also the Delivast merchant dashboard. Okay, so you want to make sure you do what's called split screen. Now, split screen is simply showing 2 apps on the same screen at the same time. So in this instance, this is a Samsung A7. You may most likely have a Blackview Tab 60 or Lenovo Tab 1. Either way, external from this video, I will show you how to do the split screen on your specific device. It's not super hard at all. But on this specific device, I'm going to do the split screen option, just so that we can quickly get to the stage of showing what the restaurants would see on their end. Okay, so this is an example, or this is how the restaurant will see, or how their tablet will be set up. You're explaining this to the restaurant as well, right? Not in terms of great depth, but just showing them that, hey, listen, this is how it looks like on your end. There's the restaurant order accepting app that's on the left-hand side. There's the Delivast merchant dashboard that's on the right-hand side. These are 2 systems that work hand in hand. Delivast and the restaurant order accepting app. The restaurant order accepting app in this instance is owned by Oracle, and so we as Delivast integrate within their online ordering system, and that's actually what we package in terms of our offering to restaurants. Hence, you've got these 2 apps that are working hand in hand. So now you've got this set up. Again, you can also do it, and make sure you actually do it before you actually go to the restaurant. Okay, again, you have to make sure that these things are ready and set up, or you quickly know how to set it up on your end. Okay, all right, so at this point we are ready to place the delivery order as a test. So you go to Chrome, you've got your tabs open, you're ready to click on place delivery order. So you click on place delivery order. Okay, at this point, as soon as you place the delivery order, you go back to the restaurant view, right, to show them exactly how it looks like. So this is exactly how it looks like on their end, right? You explain to them how there's the restaurant order accepting app, and there's 3 stages, right, which is all in progress. So under the all stage, which is where orders come in, the orders is where the order notification is, and so the restaurant would click on the actual order. Again, you can explain all these things in the other video tutorials. I've already explained how all these details are present for you, or what exactly to explain on this. So I'm going to quickly go through this because there is another tutorial that you need to look at that I've provided you with in the demo, in the credentials for demo resources, where you can actually look in more depth in terms of how to accept orders, and you need to learn how to explain that to the restaurants as well. Again, this is when prompted to give a demo. Okay, so let's say, for example, I put 60 minutes. Then I accept the order on that end. Once I accept the order, on the top left, you click on the back button. And then obviously on the right hand side, which is the Delivast merchant dashboard, the order also shows up on that end. Okay, so at this point, you've placed the order as a customer. As a restaurant, you've also accepted the order on your end. Again, the tutorials will also explain in great depth how to actually, or how the system works, what to explain to them, to the restaurant as well, while you're speaking to them, right? So you can, and those tutorials will go through how the order accepting app works, what's on the right hand side, how do they contact the support line. Again, you're not training a restaurant while doing a demo. You quickly browsing through, just showing them that, hey, listen, the tablet is there for you to accept orders. When the driver comes, how do you verify that the driver is here to pick up the correct order? And then ultimately on the customer side, what happens as well. Okay, so you've done your job on this part. Again, you're doing a demo, you're not doing a training session for the restaurants. Okay, at this point I can also go back to Chrome just to show them exactly what the customer will see once they accept the order on their end. And this is essentially what it looks like. It's just a confirmation on their end. The customer also receives an SMS just confirming that their order has been accepted. And there is an order tracking link in that SMS where they can track the status of their order as well. Okay, at this point, you now want to show on the driver side how actually does a driver get the order. So you go to the Delivast dashboard. Remember, you've got your driver account. So on the Delivast dashboard, there's a little man, or sorry, not a little man. The order will show up there. Right now, you want to make sure that no real driver actually gets these orders. Right. For example, if it's Kara that's in Cape Town, or Desha, or someone else, any other rep in any city, you want to make sure that when you accept the order, you put a long delivery time. You could put like 60 minutes, like what I did in this instance, or you could put 75 minutes, just because you don't want a real driver to actually get the order. Okay, so at this point, you just click on the order, right? Anywhere on the order there, as you saw, right? Where there's TO, just showing you the trip number, order number. You just click right there, okay? And then you'll see an option called, on the left hand side, you'll see an option called link driver, okay? So you want to link yourself using a driver account to this test order, so that a real driver doesn't actually get told to go and collect this order. So you click on where it says link driver, okay? You can see it says select operator. You just tap inside that white space there, and then you type your name. So in my instance, I'll put Kingsley. Oops. Okay, I'll put Kingsley. Okay, I've got two accounts. I'll select the one that I actually know works. And then at that point, it'll auto populate. You select your driver account, then you click on link driver. Okay, so at this point, you've now linked yourself to that order. If I go outside this order details page, okay, if I go click anywhere on the left, it'll show that the driver is Kingsley, which is my fake driver account that I've linked myself to this order. Okay, at this point, you now want to show that on the driver side, what actually happens once they have been told, or once they've been linked to an order. And so there is another tutorial that I will provide you, where you're basically quickly showing how the driver app works on that end. Okay, so at this point, you've shown the restaurant basically how they accept orders, also how the driver will show the restaurant that they're here to collect the right order as well. And so yeah, that's as simple as it is. You don't want to give too much technical information, and that's the tutorial for you. Thank you. One more thing that I neglected to include, my apologies, is that once you've done the demo for the restaurant, you want to make sure that this test order is cancelled, right? You don't want issues whereby a real driver ends up going to this fake restaurant, etc. So you want to make sure you cancel your test order once you have demonstrated or done the demo for the restaurant. So To cancel this test order, again, you click on the order itself, right, on the red, green sort of like text that's there. It opens up the order details page. On the right hand side, there's an option called cancel. So you want to make sure you cancel that order. So you click on cancel, click on the drop down, and then you just say, doesn't matter what you choose, you can choose any option, doesn't matter. So I'm just going to pick training test order and then cancel order, right? So that at this point the order is removed from the Delivar system. You've done the demo. There's no need for that test order to remain on the dashboard, because this is the exact same dashboard that our customer support team has access to. Okay, all right, thank you.